From the newsroom to the hardwood, I talked with award-winning journalist Rene Marsh, who is taking her storytelling from CNN to the literary world, honoring her late son. Then basketball legend, former Washington Wizard Rip Hamilton, gives his thoughts on the wild, wild west of college hoops, March Madness, and Red Baron Pizza. Two different paths, one moment of wisdom. Our first story is about healing. CNN correspondent Rene Marsh is familiar with reporting on big stories in an ever-changing world. But after dealing with her own personal tragedy with the loss of her son Blake to cancer, she is telling a different kind of story. Through her new book, The Nature of Change, she is healing and hopes to help children navigate the challenges of life. All right, Rene, first of all, let's talk about your book. This is your brand new book. Tell me about it. The Nature of Change.
Yeah, this is it. This is my second children's book. And this book, Wisdom, I think is a book for now.
Right.
It talks about helping children, at the core of its message is helping children navigate big change. And you and I both know.
Right.
I mean, I don't think there's any debate that the world literally is changing by
Always.
the second. If your TV isn't on for 24 hours, you've missed a lot. And our kids are feeling the same thing, but how are they navigating it? They don't have the tools. And so, you know, if you're a parent, it's really hard to start breaking down these abstract concepts of resilience and determination for a little child. So what this book does is it uses nature as a metaphor for navigating big change. And so a parent doesn't have to over-explain resilience, but instead they can say something like, do you remember the spider and its web? And the kid automatically realizes if the spider can rebuild that web over and over again, I can too.
Right.
And I wrote this book at a time in my life when I was going through big change. I heard someone say grief is the change that we did not want.
Right.
And that was the change that I was going through in my life when I lost my son Blake, which you know that story.
I know that story, yes.
And I would sit in my backyard, among nature, among the trees, and I was pretty much in zombie mode. And I would observe, and I received so many messages from nature, whether it was the trees losing everything in fall, but yet still standing, or this one story, it was a really bad snowstorm, and the limb of one of the trees in my backyard just cracked, and it was hanging on literally by just a strip of wood. And it sat there throughout the entire winter, and by the spring, it was still blossoming new leaves. And to me, what that said is, even in your broken state, you can still bloom, you can still grow. And I really did receive a lot of these messages. And so, you know, that was a tough time for me, and I couldn't help but think, well, if this is tough for me in my adult age, what can we do, you know, to help kids prepare them for the adversity that life is going to promise. Life promises you adversity.
Oh, absolutely,
and so this is my hope, that this is just a tool for parents to start that gentle conversation, to start forming those muscles in their young kids, to start understanding those concepts of hope and determination and resilience so that they are equipped when the inevitable, which is hardship, shows up.
Now, you talked about Blake. That was what year was that?
That was
because you and I, when you put that message out about Blake and everything that you were going through, it was obviously it was devastating for you.
Yeah, it was. That was April 14th, 2021, and anyone who's lost a child knows that those dates of the loss of your child is etched in your head just like their birthday. And so we're coming up on that anniversary now, and for people who don't know, I lost my son Blake to pediatric brain cancer. He was diagnosed at just 9 months old, and we lost him just 1 month after his second birthday. He fought just an encouraging fight, but you know, in the end, there was no cure for the type of cancer that he had. But he inspired me in ways that no human being that I've ever had contact with in my life have inspired me in the way that Blake has. And he had this quiet strength and resilience that gave me so much faith, even when everything looked like it wasn't going to work out. But when I saw him, the one who was going through the chemo treatments, and he was still able to smile, and he was still able to play, that quiet strength was really inspiring to me. And so the two children on this book represent my two kids,
Right.
Blake. This kid in this book, the little boy's name is Kit. I was very intentional about picking that name. Kit means, you know, the bearer of Christ. It represents faith. It represents strong sense of faith, and that is what Blake instilled in me. And then this other character, the little girl, her name is Amal, and that represents my daughter Sienna.
Right.
And Sienna represents hope for me because she is literally my rainbow after my storm. And so a lot of my personal life inspired the words on this book, but my mom heart, who loves my kids, but I love everybody's kids, I love kids so much, is to, in a world that really feels fast-paced and changing by the moment, this is an attempt to explain to our littlest and our youngest how to navigate that.
And you also started doing a lot of work in the cancer world, as far as cancer research and all those types of things, because of what happened in your life.
I did. You know, I always had been touched before cancer even came anywhere near my personal life. I'd always been touched by those St. Jude commercials.
Right.
They always like tugged at my heartstrings. But when I walked that journey with Blake, it was not until that moment that I realized the disparity in pediatric cancer funding, the fact that there are so many pediatric cancers that have no cure, and there are not enough research dollars to change that. And that was the worst thing to realize, because here I was with my son facing a diagnosis, but knowing that there was no cure for this cancer, and there really wasn't at the time any substantial research. And so it became my mission to raise awareness about this, but also try to raise funding for this issue. And I did that with my first book, The Miracle Workers, Boy versus Beast. We donated, and I wrote that first book, that was my very first children's book, while we were in the hospital with Blake as he was undergoing pediatric cancer treatments. And it is a book about just having stubborn faith. It's a modern day David versus Goliath type book. And 100% of the funds from that book went to pediatric cancer research. We gave 2 research grants to St. Jude Hospital, and we gave 1 to Sick Kids in Toronto. And as a result of the seed money that we donated to St. Jude, they were then able to qualify for an NIH grant.
Wow.
And it was because of that seed grant. So if of anything, you know, it speaks to the butterfly effect. A series of small things, movements, actions lead to big actions. And that is my goal, is just doing these small things to hopefully have big impact.
Right. In the meantime, you still have to work.
I do.
You still have to work. You're still at CNN.
I am.
You've been there for a while there. You're a fellow journalist. How do you navigate all of this, being a mom, helping with the research, writing books, and still being at CNN covering all these big stories?
Well, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Well, join the club on that.
I just need to do some
That's
like
a parent
self-care.
thing. That's not work. That's parenting.
like, what did you do? Why did you bite off so much? But at the end of the day, whether it's writing these books, whether it's raising awareness for pediatric cancer, whether it's telling these stories and documenting history, I feel all of these things. They have so much purpose, and I feel so fulfilled with all of the work. So I think that helps on the days where it's like, oh boy, like this schedule is, there's a lot to do, and not to mention also raise my 2-year-old.
Right.
But I do it, and I do it knowing that it's work that is necessary, and I feel so fulfilled doing all of this work.
Right.
Yeah.
You and your sister is also a journalist.
She is.
She is also a journalist, and you guys are like twins.
You think so?
I absolutely think so.
really?
Yeah, I think you're like twins.
But I'm the good twin,
You're
though,
the good.
right?
She's not here, so you're the good.
Right.
You're the good twin. I remember back in the day when I met a long, long time ago when I met both of you. I was like, they're twins, and now here you are. Both of you are journalists, moving around the world.
Yeah.
How's that journey been for you, as far as being a journalist from back then, because you're from New York, but back then all the way to now?
Yeah. You know, I think it's been a good journey. I feel like I'm still learning. I'm definitely a different journalist than I was when I first started. I mean, you know, when you first start in this business, you're just doing the mechanics of it, right?
Yeah.
And then now I just feel like I'm in a place where, luckily at CNN, I'm doing stories that really I care deeply and am very passionate about, and I think are just very important. That goes a long way. But going back to just my personal tragedy, I do feel as if that has made me a better journalist in many ways. I approach stories with humanity first, whereas before, as a journalist, it was always the who, what, when, where, why.
Right.
You know, making sure I check the list of all the facts. But now the approach is different. It is always humanity first.
Right.
And I'm so happy with that evolution. Although I hate to give grief any credit, but I will say it has made me a better journalist.
Right. If there's someone out there who's going through something, through anything, that needs some words of encouragement or some inspiration, what could you say to them to encourage them? It doesn't matter what it is, what area, arena, because everybody goes through something. What could you say to them?
I would say the thing that I repeated so many times in my head, which is hope is the bridge to the other side of what feels insurmountable. And so even when I got to ground zero in my life, there was always this morsel of, I know this is not the end of my story. This cannot be why I was created, to suffer and then this be the end. So I had this like morsel of hope that there was going to be more for me. So I would tell anyone who is at ground zero in their life right now to just believe that your story, there's no way that this is the last chapter, and be curious enough to stick around to want to find out what are the other chapters in your story. And I was curious enough to know what are the other chapters of my story. And what was within the other chapters is a beautiful baby girl, probably telling the best stories that I had told in my entire career at CNN, and now launching into writing children's books. And I will also share with you, I'm working on making my first children's book, The Miracle Workers, into an animation. So I'm doing a lot, and it's all purposeful work that makes me feel incredibly fulfilled. So if nothing else, this is my testimony that if you are at ground zero, there's no other way but up from here.
All right. Well, Renee, thank you very much for your time and sharing your story. I appreciate it. All right, hold up the book again. Tell people where to get the book.
All right, so it is The Nature of Change. It is sold anywhere books are available, but you can also get all the information on renemarsh.com, R-E-N-E, marsh.com.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
March Madness is here, and NCAA champion Rip Hamilton has plenty to say. The basketball legend was an NBA champion in 2004 with the Detroit Pistons, and an NCAA champion and most outstanding player with UConn in 1999. We talked about his favorites to win the tournament, potential bracket busters, and the changing landscape of college basketball. And he also gives us the scoop on getting paid to eat pizza.
All right, Richard Rip Hamilton. So the first thing I want to talk about, because I love to eat, let's talk about this contest where you can feed somebody for free by watching basketball. Please explain to me what that's all about.
Well, first of all, this is a great time of the year when it comes to college basketball. And I advise everybody to go sign up at redbaron.com professional fan. That's very important. And you got to March 12th. Again, redbaron.com/professional fan. And what it is Red Baron is paying one lucky fan and three of their friends $100 an hour to watch basketball and to provide free pizza for them. So my favorite is the 4 cheese pizza. I mean, I already ate 2, 3 boxes, all week long.
Yeah.
So this is a campaign that they're putting out where now they're actually paying fans. I mean, you think about it. Everybody's getting paid now. High school kids are getting paid. College players are getting paid. You getting paid right now. But everybody's getting paid right now. So this is something special for fans to go out and to participate. So it should be exciting.
Should be very, very exciting. I'm gonna have to sign up. I can sign up too, right? I don't have to know anything about the Final Four or anything. I can sign. Anybody can sign up, right?
And they're paying $100 an hour.
That's what I'm talking about. So I get to eat pizza and I get paid. Yes, sir. That sounds like a winner. That sounds like a winner. All right. So since we got the food out of the way, we have to talk hoops right now. March Madness. You are very familiar with March Madness because you are an icon with UConn. You won the championship in 1999. You were the most outstanding player. So you know a little bit about college basketball. So going into March Madness, have you had a chance to kind of sneak a peek at who might be doing a little something at this point?
Oh, you know that. I mean, I'm a fan of the game, and I got young kids, so we in front of the TV every weekend to watch college basketball. And for me, I mean, I'm a Husky. We are the best college basketball program in the business, right? I mean, the way that we've been playing, especially over the last 20-something years, being able to win championships. So I'm definitely looking to see what the team does. I think that they're playing and clicking at all cylinders right now. Dan Hurley's done an amazing job of leading this group. I mean, no nights off. I mean, he pushes the guys each and every game. I just feel as though that when you talk about this time of the year, you always have to mention UConn, men's and women's too. So I got to put University of Connecticut up there.
Okay, UConn. All right, so we got the favorite, and you're not biased at all because you are UConn Husky for life. Not biased at all.
No.
Bracket busters, because every year throughout the tournament, there are people who come in, the teams that come in and just mess up the brackets. You have your eye on anybody that might be doing that this year?
Well, one team that I think that everybody's, looking at right now is that Miami, Ohio team, mid-major program that's been playing well all season long. Hopefully they get in the tournament because now they're saying that maybe they got to win their conference to get in, and they've been having a lot of success all season long. Oakland University, if they win their conference, I got to throw that in. My son just committed there the other day, so if they get in, I mean, they probably got the most intriguing defensive zone in college basketball there with Coach Campy. So it should be fun. It should be exciting. So I can't wait to see.
All right. So we'll get back to college basketball in just a moment. But you also played a while in the pros. You're a pro champion as well with the Detroit Pistons. You got a ring with the Pistons. And they have turned it around to where they're one of the best teams in the league right now. Are you surprised, pleasantly surprised by what the Pistons have been able to do?
I can't even lie. Yes, I am. I mean, when you looked at a couple of years ago having I don't even want to talk about the record, but it wasn't good, right?
Yeah.
But also I understood that it's a process. It's hard to win young. It's hard to win with young guys that's coming in trying to figure out what the league is really about. And they took their bruises, they took their bumps, and they stuck together and they got healthy. And the person that got healthy was Cade Cunningham. He's, just think about a guy that come into the league, #1 pick, to a franchise that is used to winning. And he had to go through it at first, but stayed connected, stayed at the course, never got frustrated, always, made sure his teammates was first. And look at us now. I mean, #1 in the East. So hopefully we can do some good things in the playoffs when they start.
All right, so I'm gonna leave you with this because you also played here in Washington D.C. with the Wizards. Yes. They just made a significant trade with Trae Young and Anthony Davis. Are you on board with what the Wizards are doing right now? Are you on board with both of those trades? Even though we know Anthony Davis has an injury history, are you excited about that?
Yeah, I mean, Washington is the team that drafted me, so I have so many fond memories of the city. I'll miss it. So many great moments there. Like I asked you before we came on, like you got some Mamba sauce there, like that was a staple for me. And going to Florida Avenue Grill. That's DC has always have a great place in my heart. Do I like the moves for Washington? Yes. I mean, Trae Young is an all-star, and AD is an all-star too. So when you got two veteran guys that can come to an organization like Washington, it's something special. It's hard to get all-stars, right? It's hard to get guys that are stars in this league. And they got two of them. I just wish that them guys was able to play right away, but I understand injuries and everything like that. But once you get them guys on the floor with the great young pieces that they have, good things can happen for this team.
All right. So I said I was going to leave with that, but I just thought about something because you were such a tremendous. We're going to go back to college basketball. What do you think about the landscape of college basketball right now with the NILs and everybody getting paid? Because we talked about that before we came on. NILs, the transfer portal, everybody getting paid. It's a lot of people, a lot of the fans are saying, it's too much. It's the wild, wild west. Everybody's jumping around. You played the game before all of this. What are your thoughts on what's happening with college basketball right now?
Yeah, I can agree. It is the wild, wild west. I'll tell you that. But if I was playing during this time, I think I would have stayed all 4 years. Mm-hmm. I would have never left. Like, to be 100% honest with you, I mean, it's great to see that the players are getting rewarded. When you peel back the orange and you kind of see what some of these universities are making, especially off of these TV deals. Right. And the kids don't really get anything. I mean, I remember times coming back to my dorm room late at night and couldn't eat, didn't have no food, cafeteria closed. Like, right. If you ain't got no money, you can't just go buy a pizza or get a Red Baron pizza or anything like that because, a lot of these kids don't come from great financial backgrounds. So I like it. I mean, that you're giving power to the kids. I mean, you see kids all the time during our era of basketball where you come play for a university and the coach is on them and the coach doesn't like them or doesn't like their style or whatever. And now that kid got to sit on the end of the bench and not be able to participate. And now if he transfers, he has to sit out a whole year, and that really impacts his career. So I like it. Yeah, it's the wild, wild west. I mean, but hey, you know what? It gives some of the power back to the player.
Thank you so much, Richard Rip Hamilton, NCAA champion, NBA champion, and former Washington Wizard as well. Thank you, sir. Continued success with you and your kids as well. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir.
I got some mumbo sauce when you come back to DC.
I appreciate that.
And some Old Bay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Take care.
Iconic insight in basketball and an inspirational broadcaster telling her story of healing with a new book. Two voices for change in one moment of wisdom. I'm Wisdom Martin, and you can catch me weekday mornings on WUSA 9 mornings starting at 4:30 a.m.